Nintendo Switch's OLED model will be released on October 8, 2021. With wider screen, wider adjustable stand, and wired LAN port. The gameplay list in this video is a selection of top 10 new and upcoming games which we can play on Nintendo Switch and OLED model. Game players, especially Nintendo Switch game players who watched this video, may be waiting for the Nintendo Switch's release as soon as possible. Okay then, shall we get started? Number 1. Monster Hunter Stories 2: Wings of Ruin. Monster Hunter Stories 2: Wings of Ruin offers both RPG and Monster Hunter fans a unique new experience with a rich storyline featuring charming characters, challenging quests, and friendly encounters with familiar monsters from the popular series. After Rathalos vanish across the world, players assume the role of a young monster rider who is the grandchild of the illustrious rider Red. Together with the mysterious Wyverian Ina and the self-proclaimed feline hero Navarro, players embark on a sprawling adventure that spans numerous destinations. As players hatch, train, and live alongside their monsties, they will encounter numerous new allies, foes and challenges on their path to unraveling the prophecy surrounding the Wings of Ruin.
The ancient tale of a
Number 2. The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. Gameplay in The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD is largely unchanged from that of the original game. As in most The Legend of Zelda games, players control the series' main protagonist, a young swordsman named Link. In combat, Link primarily uses a sword and shield, bow and arrows, and bombs. The remaster features two control schemes, one of which aims to replicate the functions of the Wii Remote Plus and Nunchuk through improved motion controls on the Joy-Con, while the other aims to replicate a traditional control scheme by using the right analog stick to control the previously motion-controlled sword. This secondary control method allows the game to be played in handheld mode, on a Pro controller, and on the Nintendo Switch Lite. Number 3. Samurai Warriors 5. Like previous games, the game will be a hack and slash, in which the player will face against hundreds of enemy soldiers in a battlefield, with the objective usually being the defeat of an enemy commander. The game will feature a new hyper attack, which will allow the player to traverse great distance while attacking enemies, and ultimate skill, augments that, depending on their type, can be used to continue combos, regenerate Musou gauge, stun enemies, or deal a barrage of attacks. The game will use an art style resembling traditional Japanese painting. Number 4. Neo. The World Ends With You. Unlike the first title in the series, Neo is a fully 3D title. Players can control multiple characters at once during combat and attack opponents with psych abilities granted by items called pins. Each character can equip one pin of the over 300 available, and different pin groupings can create combination attacks. Wearable threads also give a boost to the player's character's abilities. Common game enemies are called noise, which are negative emotions that have come to life. The scanning ability the player uses to search for these enemies allows the player to read characters' thoughts. Number 5. Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. It is a visual novel. As such, its gameplay has a level of interactivity and consists of scenes with static two-dimensional images of characters in a first-person perspective, accompanied by occasional choices the player is forced to make in order to advance the plot. The descriptions and dialogue are depicted in the form of accompanying text without voice acting. The game's narration is provided by the game's protagonist, whom the player controls, a member of the titular literature club, to which he was invited by his childhood friend Sayori. The character's interactions with the protagonist are primarily influenced by a minigame in which the player is required to compose a poem from a set of randomly selected individual words. Number 6. No More Heroes 3. No More Heroes 3 is a third-person action-adventure hack-and-slash game, where the player assumes the role of the professional assassin Travis Touchdown, who must climb to the top of the galactic superhero rankings. The game marks a return to the series' open-world format last seen in the first game, and has the player explore a man-made metropolitan archipelago, taking on various side activities such as part-time job minigames, and defense missions where the player must battle waves of enemies. Unlike past games, the open world is split into 5 unique islands, one of which includes the series' staple fictional city of Santa Destroy. The player can traverse around and between the islands with Travis's new modified motorcycle, the Demzam Tiger, though travel between objectives can also be expedited via a fast travel system. Number 7. Diablo 2 Resurrected. The remaster mainly updates the original game's graphics and network functions and does not change any of its item systems or game balance. Resurrected overlays upgraded 3D models atop the original Diablo 2's 2D sprites, and is designed to toggle between the legacy and upgraded visuals with a button press. Its cutscenes were also remastered. Resurrected supports 4K graphics resolution and 7.1 Dolby surround sound. Blizzard added small convenience upgrades while leaving the core gameplay unchanged. Players can toggle automatic gold pickup, display ground items and other small upgrades. The game now reminds players to spend skill points and reminds that skill point allocation is permanent. Number 8. Pokémon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. These games are upcoming 2021 remakes of the 2006 Nintendo DS role-playing video games Pokémon Diamond and Pearl. Gameplay of Pokémon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl is expected to be similar to the original Diamond and Pearl games, comparable to previous remakes such as Heart Gold and Soul Silver or Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are presented in a top-down isometric third-person perspective, though with a distinct visual style. Number 9. Shin Megami Tensei 5. It is an upcoming role-playing video game by Atlus. It is part of the Shin Megami Tensei series, itself a part of the larger Megami Tensei franchise, and is scheduled for release on the Nintendo Switch in November 2021. It is a role-playing video game set in modern-day Tokyo. It will feature returning gameplay elements from previous Shin Megami Tensei games, such as the ability to fuse demons, along with new mechanics. The player assumes control of a high school student who is unexpectedly drawn into an alternate version of Tokyo that has been overrun by demons. In order to survive, he fuses with a being named Aogami to form the Nahobino.
Demons roaming this post-apocalyptic world by harnessing the power of your own. What destiny will you?
Number 10. Pokémon Legends Arceus. Pokémon Legends Arceus is an action role-playing game, a first for the main series of Pokémon games. Despite this distinction and the changes that come with it, Arceus is said to preserve the core gameplay of past entries in the series. It features an open-world setting building on the wild area introduced in Pokémon Sword and Shield. The game is set in a bygone era of the Sinnoh region's history, long before the events of Pokémon Diamond and Pearl take place. It was stated that the objective of the game would be to create Sinnoh's first Pokédex. The mythical Pokémon Arceus will play a major role in the story. Players can capture Pokémon directly in the overworld immediately without going through a battle, and can engage in battle by releasing Pokémon they have previously captured near a wild Pokémon. Pokeballs in this era were made of wood and puffed steam when the Pokémon was caught. Bonus. Sequel to The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. An untitled sequel to the 2017 action-adventure game The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, colloquially referred to as Breath of the Wild 2, is in development by Nintendo. The sequel is part of the Legend of Zelda series and is currently aimed to be released in 2022 for the Nintendo Switch. Okay, that's it. That was the top 10 new and upcoming games which we can play on Nintendo Switch and OLED model. Thanks for watching. This is Bobtendo Game TV. Please stay tuned.